So some NFL news came out on, what's today, Tuesday morning. Adrian Peterson is a unrestricted free agent. Does not mean the Vikings will not sign him, but there are some other teams that will be interested. And Antonio Brown, highest paid wide receiver in football. You know when they have lists of like who the highest paid by position are, and you look at the list and you go, what the fuck is X, Y, and Z doing on that list?
Yeah.
That's not the case for wide receivers. Here's the list of wide receivers, and Antonio Brown's now the highest paid. He seems deserving.
I would say so.
Element number 5, it includes guys like T.Y. Hilton. But look at it. A.J. Green, Julio Jones, Antonio Brown, the top 3 highest paid wide receivers. Good. You did it right, guys. All right, round of applause. And guys like Demaryius Thomas and Dez Bryant, T.Y. Hilton are elite wide receivers, so sure. Dez took a while to get unless he'll hook up with Dak.
It's not like when we were talking about the NBA at the start of the season and Timothy Mozgov making almost double what Steph Curry was making that year with the signing on bonus or whatever it was.
I agree with that.
You agree with that?
Yeah, the Timothy Mozgov draining threes.
But so
dunking the ball.
And this is very reminiscent of world football as well, because a lot of these contracts, they don't have the same, they're not structured in the same way like the NBA is. They're structured in a way that you're playing well, you're going to make that money. And I think that Antonio Brown is well deserving. Julio Jones, I still think, is the better wide receiver. That's just my opinion. I'll call him Julio Jones because I'm the most foreign guy in this world.
You're allowed to.
Julio Jones. The way I call Jose Mourinho.
Jose Aldo.
I mix it up.
Jose Aldo. Julio Jones.
But as for the first point, the reason I was up in arms at the start of the clip is what happened to my Vikings prediction. Now, if Adrian Peterson goes, I was expecting him to have a resurgent year and really get back to his best and to put my Vikings back.
What if he goes?
Do you think he's going to sign?
It's a lot. It's $18 million, and the Vikings have to move on. That's the problem. And 1 year for $18 million probably isn't worth it. Now, what could happen is you can go to another team and light it up for 1,500 yards on the ground.
That's the thing.
Here's the other problem too. Adrian Peterson is not the greatest pass-catching back, and a lot of guys want pass-catching backs. So they said the Giants were interested. Well, there's no reports that they are, and the Giants run, according to the NFL.com report, 72% of their plays from the shotgun. That's not what Adrian Peterson is dominant at. And I'm not saying he can't adjust. It's just if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And last year, well, it was broke, so you got to fix it.
Yeah,
but he was broke. You got some knee injuries. But again, we've seen this with Thomas Jones. We've had on before, and he's always said, like, I had my best season at 31 years old. Maybe Adrian Peterson can have his best season at 32. He is in impeccable shape. It's not like he has his own personal training thing in fucking Houston or Phoenix, I forget where in Arizona, and he has like his own uphill sand dune racing thing.
Yeah, these guys are impeccable athletes. I think their sell-by date for especially running backs and receivers sometimes a little different because these guys obviously are taking hits non-stop, so you have to kind of be a little bit, I would say less, like if you're talking about a quarterback here who's maybe went through a rough season, but he's got the potential, you're not going to say, maybe we'll be on the downhill spiral soon. You'll be like, oh, they've got a great chance at still continuing and having a great season as we've seen.
You can't touch the quarterback anymore. It's not like Manning or Brady or Manning doesn't play in the league
anymore. These guys are
going to
Brett Favre playing until he was 68, which was great.
Brett Favre went to the Vikings. I wonder if Adrian Peterson would have the gall to go to the Packers and just rip out Viking fans' hearts.
But the way I look at it is very similar to like a Larry Fitzgerald as well. Like people were expecting him to go through. He was going through a transition process, and then he came back and had one of the most phenomenal years we've seen in his career. So I would like to see this from Adrian Peterson. Of course, he's got shades of grey. We know this. And
50?
Not just from that, but his personality as a whole. And I know this goes into the conversation of separating art from art, what we were talking about.
Well, that's why I don't think the Giants should sign him. Look, I wrote a fucking article for the Medium page about you don't have to separate art from artists. I think it's absurd. This stay in your lane stuff is ridiculous, by the way.
I've always been
stay in your lane. You don't stay in your lane on the fucking highway.
Yeah, especially people who are commenting in it as well. Like, if you're from LA and you're telling someone to stay in your lane, take your own fucking lane.
Take your own fucking lane.
Because it's the worst. But
the lanes don't move here anyway.
This is one thing that I've always found a little confusing with the NFL is I don't get that players want to move for the purpose of trying to win a Super Bowl or to go to a franchise like LeBron would go to.
It's tough to move in the NFL,
and that's why. So I don't want to sit here and make predictions like I would like to see him go to the Falcons because they were so close, and I was thinking about it.
I have a meme.
All right, well, just
I have two memes.
Give me the meme. Where's he going?
I have two memes. Oh, well, that's a good one too. It's still Oscar meme time.
Of course, it's not. This is going to be a meme forever. This is
What did he
amazing.
say? But the next one is my favorite because someone even made one for you. The Cowboys don't need Adrian Peterson. Go get Adrian Peterson. They don't need Adrian Peterson, but
No, they don't.
here's the thing. The Cowboys and the Patriots, of course, are interested.
Yeah.
I mean, LeGarrette Blount wasn't the most interesting player to a lot of teams, and he was getting older, and the Patriots turned him into a fucking touchdown
player.
machine this
Yeah.
year, and guess what? They also won the Super Bowl. I think the Buccaneers is a team that Adrian Peterson could be interested in. I say the Bucks because they run a similar running system where he was successful in with the Vikings, according to Ian Rappaport of NFL.com. And in addition to that, they're a team that's kind of on the rise. Like, would Adrian Peterson be a big enough weapon to put them over the bump of being like an 8-8 team and really making them like, 11-5 and make a playoff push? Who knows? He's 32 at the point when the season starts. His knees could fall out. In Game 3, he ran for 72 total yards in 2016, this last season. It's just the idea that there's always the what if. Well, what if Adrian Peterson runs for fucking 1,800 yards
Yeah.
and you get the best running back in the league back for even 1 year? Is that $18 million worthy?
Remember him? I remember
God,
that
he's
guy
fucking
in
unbelievable.
his prime, man. Like there was two players that were
Scary.
captivating to me watching NFL through my transition into loving it. And it was Marshawn Lynch and Adrian Peterson. Very similar in the way that both of them were just trucks, man. No one could stop them. I remember there was a tape of Adrian Peterson going and a guy was like hanging onto his leg and being dragged along.
That's
with
right,
him.
he's dragging him along. Adrian Peterson, he'll be marred for some of his later career activities, what happened with, the child abuse and incidents like that, but he'll also be objectively one of the greatest running backs to ever play the game. In terms of if you want to keep it to sports and just on the football field, he's probably one of the 10 best.